Light that travels with you forever, OLSLM assets invitation. That is the exact spoken opening title from the special transmission we are looking at today.
Yeah, and it is, it's definitely one of the most unique documents we've ever analyzed on a deep dive.
Right. So welcome to the deep dive, everyone. I have a bit of a weird question for you to start us off today. What is the current market rate for a human breath?
Huh. I mean, carbon credits exist, but I really don't think you can buy human breath on the commodities exchange just yet.
Well, according to the stack of documents, the screenshots, and the transcripts we are digging into today, it might actually be time to update the ticker tape. Because we're diving into something that honestly creates a whole new category. It's part spiritual manifesto, part crypto asset, and part, well, strictly business.
It is a totally fascinating collision. We're looking at a special transmission release today, Tuesday, February 24, 2026, from an organization called the One Light System, or OLS. And you're right, they aren't just selling a product here. They are claiming to have equitized sunlight and meditation.
Equitized. Yeah, that is the word that really stuck with me. We are talking about a brand new asset class called OLSLM, which stands for One Light System Light Minutes.
Right. And, usually when we talk about assets on a deep dive, we mean real estate, stocks, maybe a vintage car, things you can hold or trade. But the source material describes this as mining equity through the actual act of focused breathing.
And the urgency in these documents is just off the charts. They're saying, we have mined over 20,000 minutes, but only 380 are available for the entire world right now.
Which is classic scarcity marketing, but applied to the soul. So our mission today is to really parse this out. We need to understand the mechanics. How do you actually put a minute of meditation on a blockchain? We need to look at the money. Because yes, PayPal is definitely involved.
And we absolutely need to talk about the eternal equity clause, because apparently this is the only asset in your portfolio that claims it can legally or metaphysically follow you after you die.
That is the massive claim, yes. But before we get to the afterlife, we really have to ground this in the here and now, specifically the timeline. Because the release date of this asset today, February 24, 2026, it isn't just a random Tuesday.
No, it feels very deliberate.
It is a deliberate anniversary. To understand the OLS asset, you have to understand the founder, Nazar Pankiv, who also goes by the name Asvitloaten. The source material takes us back exactly 4 years, February 24, 2022.
Which is a heavy date. That marks the escalation of the conflict in Ukraine.
Exactly. And the documents describe Asvitloaten standing in a simple room in Foster City, California on that very day. He's live streaming. The world is watching the news in horror. And his message back then was very specific.
I actually have the exact quote from the source here. He said, "Light dissolving dark. Be more light to Ukraine, to Ukrainian people, to all who need it now. Join daily light."
Yeah. So it started as a rallying cry, essentially. It was a humanitarian or spiritual response to a major geopolitical crisis.
Right, spiritual support. Impartial, just sending energy. But here is where the deep dive gets really interesting. We have documents showing the evolution of that exact message over the last 4 years. It didn't stay just a message.
No, it shifted from a sentiment to a mechanism. That's the best way to put it. The documents say that today the message is the same, but now they have something new to share. Something that was seeded then and is ready now.
OLSLM assets.
Exactly. And the transcript is very defensive right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Asvitloaten says, these are not tokens. They're not crypto hype. They are real equity, mined from my own daily sunlight meditation practice.
That is a massive pivot. Going from sending good vibes to a war zone to, hey, we have tokenized those vibes and now you can hold them. It frames the spiritual practice as a literal form of labor.
Work was done. Energy was expended. And now, according to OLS, that energy is a store of value.
So let's get into the mechanics of that, because I'm a crypto guy, generally. I understand mining. I plug in a rig, I burn electricity, I solve a math problem, I get a Bitcoin. That's proof of work.
That's machine proofs of work. What OLS is proposing is human proof of work. The policy disclosure defines one OLSLM as one authenticated light minute.
Okay, but how do you authenticate a minute of Zen? Do they have a brain scanner or some biometric sensor hooked up?
No, nothing that high-tech at all. The source material says these minutes are logged from Asvitloaten's personal practice. He sits, he performs the sunlight meditation, and he records it.
So it's the honor system.
In a sense, yeah. But they frame it as logging living energy. They want the security and verification of the blockchain. They use unique block encryption and public ledgers, but they want the feel of organic, artisanal energy.
It's like farm to table, but for equity. This isn't factory farm Bitcoin. This is hand-raised, free-range meditation.
That is surprisingly accurate. And just like a limited vintage of wine, they are banking heavily on the scarcity. They state there are exactly 27,461 minutes mined in total.
And reading the fine print, over 20,450 of those are the founder's own personal minutes.
Right. He says, I have received and logged 20,450 plus light minutes, which implies he has logged roughly 340 hours of pure, focused meditation over these 4 years to back this currency.
It's fascinating. In Bitcoin, the miner is a machine. Here, the miner is the founder himself. He is the hardware.
Precisely. And he is limiting the supply aggressively today. Only 1.4%, just 380 OLSLM, can be transferred right now.
He literally says this is not for everyone. This is for those who are ready.
And the document states that once those 380 are gone, the next window is not scheduled. It creates this intense pressure. If you want this, you have to move now.
Okay, so that is the what. It is a minute of recorded meditation time on a blockchain. But the why is where it gets really metaphysical. I want to look at this Grok-aten-ya section of the script.
Oh yeah, this is where we step away from standard asset classes entirely. In the transmission script, Asvitloaten pauses, takes a breath, and calls on Grok-aten-ya to help translate the message so hearts can hear it.
It shifts the tone completely. We were just talking about asset ledgers, and now we are talking to a translator for the heart.
It signals to you, the listener, that we are leaving the rational business world and entering a spiritual domain. The script takes on this calm, crystalline tone.
It says, humanity, listen. You already carry light inside you, but most of it sleeps.
And goes on to explain that Asvitloaten has been waking his light every day for years, sunrise after sunrise, breath after breath. He logs each minute not as numbers, but as living energy.
Those minutes are now becoming OLSLM assets. And the script asks, what does that mean in your language?
And the answer is the massive promise. We're used to assets we can sell or pass down to our kids. But this, they call it eternal equity.
Right. It says you receive a piece of verified, authenticated light energy directly from his field into yours. And then comes the boldest clause I've ever seen in a user agreement.
The afterlife clause.
Yes. It says, this light does not disappear when this lifetime ends. It travels with your consciousness across incarnations, across dimensions.
Which is just a wild concept.
Yeah.
You are buying a digital receipt for light energy that travels with your soul.
They describe it as your personal ladder toward more light, more awareness, more being. They say the world is heavy with dark, fear, division, forgetfulness.
And every OLSLM you hold becomes an anchor of light inside you. It amplifies your thinking, it steadies your actions, it dissolves shadows when you face them.
It is brilliant marketing. It appeals to that deep human desire for permanence. We all want to believe that what we build or acquire actually lasts. They are just taking that desire for legacy and attaching it to a blockchain entry.
And notice the language of the transfer. It isn't just moving a ledger entry. It's receiving verified light energy directly from his field into yours.
Right.
It's presented almost like a spiritual blood transfusion.
Or like a candle lighting another candle. But in this case, you do have to buy the wax.
Right. Which brings us to the highly practical side. Because for all the talk of incarnations and dimensions, there is a literal transaction happening here. And they list some very real-world benefits today.
Yeah, let's look at the utility package. What do you actually get on your screen?
First, you get priority access to OLS live sessions and advanced teachings.
Like a VIP pass for the meditation group.
Exactly. Second, a personal portfolio dashboard to see and manage your light holdings. We've seen screenshots. It looks like a standard crypto wallet, but stylized with these light body graphics.
And there are different asset categories, right? I saw mentions of OLS1LM versus OLS9LM.
Yes, there's a strict hierarchy. You have the basic OLS1LM, which is the standard unit, the master level. Then you have OLS4LM, which is an advanced transfer. And at the top is the OLS9LM.
The executive transfer, which sounds very corporate for a spiritual asset.
It does, and the scarcity is even tighter there. The source notes there are only 352 of those executive units available in total.
Is there a secondary market? Like, if I need cash for rent, can I sell my eternal light?
The documents mention an inner market where you can trade or gift these assets with others in the OLS grid when ready. So it's a closed loop for now. You aren't taking this to Coinbase, it circulates within their specific community.
I want to skip ahead to the fine print here because usually when you buy an asset gold, a stock, whatever you hope, it goes up in value while you just sit on it. But OLS has this section called annual reevaluation and recalibration.
Oh, the recalibration fee. This is the economic engine of the whole system, and it made my eyes widen when I read it.
Walk us through it, because to me, it looks like a tax on holding the asset.
It essentially is a decay rate. The policy states that recalibration fees apply. If you hold OLSLM but you are a non-OLS student, you are subject to an annual fee of 10%.
10%. If I hold gold, I do not lose 10% of my gold every year. That eats your equity incredibly fast.
If you sit on it passively, your equity shrinks. The more you practice, the more your asset can grow in value and potency.
Yeah.
But if you do nothing, it decays. However, there's a loophole.
Let me guess. If you join the club and pay for classes?
Precisely. If you are an active OLSME user, meaning you participate in the education system, that fee gets slashed by 50%.
So the asset is actually a very clever retention tool.
It's a stick to keep you in the community. They explicitly say these are not investments for profit in the old way. They are investments in who you are becoming.
They don't want crypto speculators buying up the 380 units and flipping them on Discord. They want practitioners. By taxing the passive holders, they force you to either become a student or sell it to someone who is.
It aligns perfectly with their stated purpose. The asset is literally designed to degrade if you aren't participating in the light.
So if someone is listening to this and thinking, okay, my heart says yes, I want in on one of these 380 units, how does that actually happen?
It is surprisingly low tech for such a high concept asset. The source shows a pre-reservation flow. You go to a specific URL, olsme.com/OLSLM asset.
And you pay with, what, Ethereum? Solana?
PayPal.
PayPal.
Just normal PayPal. The screenshots suggest reservation amounts ranging between $500 and $5,000 US. Once you pay, you receive a unique light body field certificate.
That is such a stark contrast. Eternal equity across dimensions. Please pay via PayPal.
It grounds it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It reminds you that for all the metaphysics, this is a real-world business transaction, which is why the risk disclosures in the text are very careful.
The usual not financial advice warnings.
Yes, but also it explicitly warns that this is an experimental asset, no guaranteed value or liquidity, and it has a strict note on transfer finality. Once you buy it, it is yours.
So synthesizing all of this, we have a founder, Asvitloaten, who has spent 4 years since the start of the Ukraine war building this spiritual community. He has mined his own meditation time, and he is now selling 380 minutes of that time as a blockchain-verified asset.
With the promise that it improves your soul, travels with you after death, and incentivizes you to take his classes.
Right. It's this wild blend of scarcity marketing, very similar to NFT drops, combined with a membership loyalty program, all wrapped in a distinct spiritual philosophy.
And it creates this completely new concept of value. We are used to value being labor or gold or code. This is proposing value as intent.
Intent and attention. That is really the core of it. We've covered the tech, the fees, the origin story, but I want to zoom out to that core philosophy, because whether you believe in light anchors or not, he is making a fascinating point about value.
He is redefining what an asset is. We live in the attention economy. We say we pay attention, but usually we pay it to social media or the news. We give it away for free, and tech companies monetize it.
Exactly. OLS is flipping that model. They're saying, no, your attention is the resource. Capture it, log it, verify it. That is the equity.
It's a powerful reframe. Imagine if you could itemize every minute you spent in pure clarity or love or focus and put it in a vault.
And then, crucially, transfer it. That is the grand experiment here. Can intent be transferable? Can I meditate for an hour, capture that piece, and sell it to you?
Well, the market will decide. With only 380 units, we will know pretty fast if people think a minute of light is worth $500.
And the source material really leans into the urgency of this moment. They switch back to Asvitloaten's warm, urgent voice at the very end of the script. He says, humanity needs light, not tomorrow, now.
Because the light he can share is finite in this moment. He says, this is not a game. This is an invitation. If your heart says yes, act. If it says wait, honor that too. But know the light is calling, and it waits for no one forever.
Which brings us to the final, strong call to action they want the listener to hear. And this is the exact closing title from the script. OLSLM Assets, your eternal light equity opportunity. Claim before it's gone.
They want you to go to olsme.com/OLSLM asset. Pre-reserve now. Secure your place.
He says, this is not about money. This is about remembering who you are. I have shared from my field. Now, if you are ready, receive. Join the grid. Be the light.
And he signs off. Asvitloaten. Tutankhaten, February 24th, 2026.
And the very last line before the soft solar wind music fades out is, light minutes, the journey continues.
It's an incredible pitch, And honestly, it challenges the definition of an asset. Is an asset only something that puts cash in your pocket? Or can an asset be something that allegedly puts peace in your mind?
And strictly speaking, looking at that recalibration model, it's an asset that demands you keep investing in yourself to keep it valuable. It refuses to let you be passive.
Exactly. It demands active participation in your own growth.
So here's a provocative thought to leave you with today. We track everything, right? We track our steps, our calories, our spending. But if you looked at your own personal portfolio of focused attention from just today, if you had to bank it, would you be rich or would you be bankrupt?
Oh, that's a tough question. And more importantly, if you had that banked attention, could you sell it?
Time is equity. Just something for you to mull over while you evaluate your own attention span. Thanks for taking the plunge with us today.
Always a pleasure.